Good morning, everyone. How do you create something out of nothing? I imagine that this is a question this community was asking itself 35 years ago. Last night we celebrated our 35th anniversary as a community, and it was so nice to reminisce on all the good memories from throughout our church's history. However, there are a few parts of the story of our early days as a community that we did not bring up. A few parts that are maybe not so fun to reminisce about. Thank you. We did not mention that 35 years ago, when Metropolitan Anthony of blessed memory sent Father Dino to Elk Grove, that there was literally nothing here. And I'm not talking about just this location or that there was no church. I mean, there was barely even a city of Elk Grove. Nothing. And as if starting with nothing wasn't hard enough, there were plenty of people who didn't even want a new church in this area. They did not think it would be such a good idea to build a church. I've observed in many parishes throughout the country that every time there is someone with a new idea to do a new program or ministry in the church, there will be about 10 people telling that person why it is not a good idea to start a new program or a new ministry. So now imagine then a group of people trying to build a new church and how many naysayers there might be for them. So there was not only nothing here, but there were also naysayers on top of the nothing. I think you would agree that this is not a good combination to have when trying to build a new church. But fortunately, despite the nothingness and the naysayers, there was something much more powerful. A small group of people banded together who would not take no for an answer. A young priest and his young presbytera, along with some very loyal and respected couples from the area, set out to build a new church no matter what. And although they had no resources and no support, they had something much more powerful. They had faith. They had faith that one day there would be a beautiful new church completed for the glory of God. They had faith that their efforts would pay off. They had faith that once there was nothing, there would be something beautiful, something meaningful, something to be proud of. Our gospel passage today features a blind man who was a beggar on the side of the road. A man who had nothing in the sense of material things or money, but a man who had even less than nothing because he was lacking his eyesight, perhaps the most important of our five senses. So a man with no money and no vision was sitting by the side of the road when he heard a commotion because Jesus Christ was in his midst. And when he sensed that Jesus was nearby, he called out to him. But as he called out, the crowd around him was filled with naysayers who tried to silence him. It says the man cried, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." And those who were in front rebuked him, telling him to be silent. But he cried out all the more, "Son of David, have mercy on me." What this man lacked in possessions and even abilities, he made up for with faith. Only with faith was he able to cry out to Christ again, despite the naysayers. Sometimes in life we let our lack of resources or lack of ability paralyze us into doing nothing when we want to take action. Perhaps we do not right the things that are wrong in our life because we don't believe in ourselves. But we see from the blind man today to never be discouraged and to always cry out to Christ for his help when we need it. And of course, when the blind man cries out the second time, Christ stops immediately. And not only does he stop, but he asks the man what he wants him to do for him. The man asks to receive his sight, and Christ says to him, "Receive your sight, your faith has made you well." Your faith has made you well. Every once in a while, things do not go well in life. Perhaps work weighs us down more than usual. Perhaps we get plagued by some type of sickness. We are just like so many people in the gospel passages that call out to Christ for his healing grace. But the way that he comes to heal us is through our faith. Faith that our situation can get better. Faith that God can help us. Faith to make something even when there is nothing. In order to accomplish anything meaningful in life, we must be able to visualize our goal, but then put our faith into the Lord that he will not only help us, but that he will guide us towards accomplishing it. And that is exactly what happened for that small group of people 35 years ago. When there was no city, God saw fit to make Elk Grove one of the fastest growing cities in the country at that time. And here we are today looking back, not even remembering the tough times or the naysayers, but fondly remembering the beautiful parts of the journey that have brought us all here together today. If you notice, the blind man, when he was being silenced by the naysayers, did not even respond to them. He did not acknowledge them. He simply continued reaching out directly to Christ instead. He ignored the naysayers and focused on his faith. So let us all do the same. And whatever it is we want to accomplish in life, ignore your naysayers. Do not get discouraged by the things you may think you lack. Put instead your faith in the Lord and set out and create something, even if you begin with nothing. Amen.